Hello dear students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. D.C. Saxena, Professor and Head of the Department of Food Engineering and Technology at Sant Longowal Institute of Engineering and Technology, Longowal. I am here to present the paper Technology of Spices and Condiments. You know, the cardamoms are plucked afresh from the tree, and if these are stored afresh, they may create some problem during storage. They may be contaminated by bacteria. So to check this, we dry the cardamom. And how to dry, what are the different advantages of drying of cardamom, these aspects of cardamom drying will be discussed in the present module by my co-author Ms. Romi Jan.
Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Romi Jan, research scholar from Sant Longowal Institute of Engineering and Technology. Today I am going to talk about Module 20 of paper number 10, Technology of Spices and the Condiments. In this module, we will be learning about drying of cardamom. We will also learn about the processing techniques used in the drying of cardamom. Cardamom curing may be defined as the process in which moisture of freshly harvested capsules is reduced from 80% to 10 to 12% through indirect heating. Drying is the most important unit operation that determines the quality of the end products. Apart from quality in terms of color, flavor component such as 1,8-cineol, terpenyl acetate, linalool, etc. are also important. The traditional firewood-based curing house consists of wood-burning surface, flue pipes, and drying racks in the chamber. The furnace is made up of fine bricks or thick iron plates to facilitate charging with wood logs. Drying should be carefully controlled and should not be too rapid. Temperature, humidity, and the aeration may be checked at frequent intervals during the course of drying. The harvested capsules are spread in a single layer on the trays. After keeping cardamom trays in the racks, curing room is closed and heating is done by the burning firewood in the furnace. The hot air is passed through the pipes placed a few centimeters above the floor, enhances the room temperature to 45 and 55 degrees centigrade, and this temperature status should be maintained for 3 to 4 hours initially. At this stage, the capsules sweat and with the enhanced temperature gives off the moisture. The ventilators are opened for sweeping out the water vapor from the dried fruits. In Karnataka, harvested capsules are directly dried under the sun. It requires 5-6 days or even more depending upon the availability of the sunlight. In this module, we will be discussing about methods for drying of the small cardamom and the large cardamom. In case of small cardamom, which includes the following: traditional sun drying, solar drying, fuel source dryer, electricity or gas dryer, humidity control drying, biomass gasifiers, and in case of large cardamom, which includes the two methods like traditional method, bhatti, and improved flue pipe curing house. The drying is the most critical process in the production of dried herbs and the spices. The aim of the drying is to reduce the moisture content of the product from actually growing in the field to a level that prevents deterioration of the product and allows storage in a stable condition. Drying is a two-stage process. Firstly, transfer of the heat to the moist product to vaporize the water in the product, and secondly, mass transfer of moisture from the interior to the product surface where it evaporates. The most important and the immediate management concern is to ensure the harvested crop will not rot or become grossly invaded with yeasts, bacteria, and the molds producing the aflatoxins or become contaminated by the pests. This is the start of the preservation process, which for most spice crops requires drying that will enable the long-term crop storage and the opportunity for further processing. The drying phase of post-harvest management can include 4 preliminary stages: the selection of high-quality produce from the field, cleaning the crop by washing and disinfection, preparing the crop for the drying by peeling or slicing, pre-treatment with the antioxidants, blanching or sulfurizing. In some cases, washing prior to processing is desirable to remove field contaminants, which includes the dust and the soil, using antimicrobial solutions to reduce the microbial populations to a low level prior to the drying process. There are 4 main types of drying which are used for drying of small cardamom. The most basic method of drying is to spread the crop on a surface exposed to the sun. In this case, the process is aided by a cover system that prevents wetting with rainfall. Solar drying systems together with solar-powered fans are also available. An improved method speeding up the drying is to use a fuel source, wood, oil, or diesel gas, or the electricity to heat the drying room. The drying process should dry the crop as quickly as possible at temperature levels which do not dry off the volatile flavor compounds. The drying temperature again will be specific to each crop, as will be the final moisture percentage for the storage. The traditional open sun drying that's widely used in developing countries has major inherent limitations when trying to preserve the product quality. High crop loss and the low product quality result from inadequate drying, long drying times, fungal spoilage, insect infestations, bird and rodent damage, and the contamination, plus the effects of sunlight and the weather. Even in the most favorable climate, it's often not possible to get the moisture content of the product low enough for the storage. In the tropics, the high relative humidity of the air prevents the drying of the harvested crop products during the wet season. Solar dryers can be classified into 2 generic groups, which includes the passive or natural air circulation solar dryers and the active or forced convection solar energy dryers. Forced convective dryers employ motorized fans for the circulation of the drying air. The electricity for the fan can come from a solar photoelectric panel and the battery. Each group can also be subdivided into the 3 subgroups. The integral types direct solar dryers, where the crop is placed in a drying chamber with transparent walls and the solar radiation falls directly on the crop, coupled with convective airflow from the heated surrounding air. Distributed type, also known as indirect heating, where solar radiation heats a solar collector external to the drying chamber. A mixed type, where there is both the direct and the indirect heating. These are the diagrammatic representation of the solar dryers. The integral type dryers are simple in both construction and the operation and require little maintenance. However, they are likely to operate at lower efficiency due to their simplicity and there is less control of the drying operation. The direct exposure of the crop to the sunlight enhances the color ripening desired in certain varieties of grapes, dates, coffee, and development of full flavor in the roasted beans. Indirect type dryers are the dryers with natural convection of air for the drying. The distributed type indirect type dryers are the much more elaborate structures so require greater investment in materials and the running costs, but have higher efficiency and as a result, product quality is generally higher. In order to increase the capacity of a dryer, that is, to operate with more than one layer of trays with crops within the available area, the trays are generally placed in vertical racks with some space in between the consecutive trays. Sun drying. Traditionally, cardamom capsules are spread on a concrete floor to dry using the natural heat from the sun. The capsules should be placed away from the direct sunlight to preserve the green color. Strong sunlight will make the color fade. This is the simplest and the cheapest method, but does not produce the highest quality product. It's only successful in the places where the climate is dry and hot. During the monsoon season, for example, drying will be interrupted by rainfall which can cause mold to grow on the capsules. During drying, the capsules may be contaminated by dirt and the dust from the surroundings. In the case of solar drying, the use of a solar dryer should improve the quality of the dried capsules as it's a cleaner, more controlled environment. However, it's not a popular choice as the green color is lost during the drying. The solar dryer is really useful in dry, hot sunny climates. The capsules should be placed in the dryer out of the direct sunlight and dried until they have a final moisture content of 10%. In places with high humidity, the solar dryer can only be used together with an extractor fan to remove the humid air. An electric or the gas-fired dryer is an improvement over the use of a wood-fueled fire and is the best choice for drying large quantities of the cardamom, especially in the places where there is rainfall during the drying season. It's the most expensive of all options but does produce the highest quality product. A range of dryers of different sizes are available depending upon the individual choice and the budget. Cardamom capsules are placed in the drying chamber, which is at the temperature of 50 degrees centigrade. During the first 2 hours of the drying, the humidity builds up within the chamber. This allows the cardamoms to cook and at the same time destroys the enzymes that break down the chlorophyll, which gives the pods the green color. No light is allowed into the drying chamber. After 2 hours, the humid air is blown out the chamber and the humidity is reduced. The capsules are left in the chamber to dry until they have final moisture content of about 10%. Above figure shows a traditional drying chamber. Traditional drying chamber. Wood-fired dryer. In India, cardamom capsules are traditionally dried in curing houses using wood to provide the heat. This method puts a huge demand on the firewood. The smoke from the fire can give the capsules an unpleasant smoked flavor. The processor must ensure that the capsules closest to the heat source are not burnt or scorched. Cardamom capsules dried by this method are not of the highest quality. Electric or the gas dryer. An electric or the gas-fired dryer is an improvement over the use of a wood-fueled fire and is the best choice for drying large quantities of the cardamom, especially in the places where there is rainfall during the drying season. It's the most expensive of all the options but does produce the highest quality product. It's important that the drying temperature does not exceed the 50 degrees centigrade. Humidity controlled drying. A drying chamber has been developed that helps to reduce color loss and to produce the high quality pods. The cardamom capsules are placed in the drying chamber, which is at a temperature of 50 degrees centigrade. During the first 2 hours of drying, the humidity builds up within the chamber. This allows the cardamom to cook and at the same time destroys the enzymes that breaks down the chlorophyll, which gives the pod their characteristic green color. No light is allowed into the drying chamber. After 2 hours and the humid air is blown out of the chamber and the humidity is reduced. The capsules are left in the chamber to dry until they have reached a final moisture content of only 10%. Traditional firewood-based curing house is mainly used for the drying of small cardamom. Curing, which means moisture of the freshly harvested capsules, is reduced from 80% to 10 to 12% through the indirect heating. Drying is an important factor which determines the color of the end products. The flavor component, which includes 1,8-cineol, terpenyl acetate, linalool, etc., are also important during the drying process of the small cardamom. The harvested capsules are spread in a single layer on the trays. After keeping cardamom trays in the racks, curing room is closed and heating is done by the burning firewood in the furnace. The hot air is passed through the pipes placed a few centimeters above the floor, enhances the room temperature to 45 and 55 degrees centigrade, and this temperature status should be maintained for 3 to 4 hours initially. At this stage, the capsules sweat and, with enhanced temperature, give off the moisture. The ventilators are opened for sweeping out water vapor from the dried fruits. Exhaust fans can also be used for the speedy removal of the moisture. After the complete removal of the water vapor, ventilators are closed and the temperature inside the chamber should be maintained again at 45 to 55 degrees centigrade for about 18 to 24 hours. At frequent intervals, 3 to 4 hours, ventilator exhaust fan are to be opened to remove the excess moisture, otherwise the water vapor settles down on the capsules and it leads to the cooking effect, thereby loses the color of the capsules. The temperature is again raised to around 60 to 65 degrees centigrade for another 1 or 2 hours for completing the curing process. The temperature is raised to hasten the cleaning process, removing the debris, like the stalks, attach the capsules. Avoid raising the temperature about 65 degrees centigrade inside the curing house to reduce splitting and the loss of the volatile oil. Black-colored blanket kept on the capsules, spread under the sun, will augment the drying process and also provides green color to the cured produce. Dried capsules polishing either manually or with the help of machines before the marketing. Polishing by rubbing the dried capsule in the hot state against the hot surface. Polishing machine can be operated either manually or with the help of the electric motor. Motorized machines like the Corpol can be used for the polishing and grading of the capsules having the desired mesh. After grading, cardamom capsules can be stored over long duration. For efficient retention of the green color during the storage, cardamom is dried to a moisture level of about 10 to 12%. 300 gauge black polythene-lined gunny bags improves the storage efficiency. Wooden boxes at room temperature can be used for keeping the better storage effectively. Cardamom capsules should be harvested at correct maturity stage without physical damage and subject to post-harvest operations such as washing, curing, cleaning, grading, packing, and storage. Capsules may be washed in water to remove the adhering soil and other dirts to get good quality commodity. Capsules should not be stored after harvest for longer duration as it adversely affects the quality of the end product. Efficient and largely automated cardamom dryers have been designed and manufactured by several private entrepreneurs using alternate source of fuel such as kerosene, liquid petroleum gas, and diesel cardamom or using combination of the fuels. In the improved dryers, the alternate fuel source can be used either independently or in combination with the firewood. The entire curing process, controlling the energy flow, is fully automated. Improved systems are advantageous in retaining high quality of the produce with respect to its color and have substantially reduced curing duration 16 to 18 hours. Cardamom dried in the improved curing chambers often fetches premium price in auctions and in retail. Fresh, large cardamom capsules contain an initial moisture of 70 to 80% on the wet basis. Drying of the large cardamom depends upon the maturity level of the capsules at the time of the harvest. Harvesting of the large cardamom is done from August to September at the end of the rainy season but before harvesting the paddy, and later each capsule is separated from the bunch flower and cleaned before the drying. To achieve a long shelf life and to bring about the aroma, moisture content is reduced below the 10% for the cardamom, that's known as the curing. Drying of large cardamom, traditional method where the cardamom capsules are spread on a mesh and exposed directly to the smoke, and poor quality dried product, which means where there is no control on the fire and the smoke. The flue pipe curing chamber by the Spices Board, a government agency under the Ministry of Commerce, is to overcome the drawbacks. In flue pipe method, which is slow and also required very large initial investment without any energy savings. Drying during the rainy season is generally preferable to smoke the product. 50 kg of the seed capsules should be kept for 5 to 7 days for the smoke drying. A ratio of fresh weight to dry weight of the capsules, which means 5:1. Thus, 5 kg of the fresh harvested capsules will yield 1 kg of the dry capsules. The most widely adopted drying system is a slow dryer over 18 to 30 hours using a number of methods of the artificial drying, which includes the electric, kiln or the bin drying, with various methods of airflow. In the traditional method, cardamom capsules are spread on a mesh and exposed directly to the smoke. There is no control on the fire and the smoke, resulting in the poor quality of the dried product. In order to overcome the drawbacks of the traditional curing chambers, the Spices Board, a government agency under the Ministry of Commerce, tried to promote the flue pipe curing chamber, generally which is used in South India for the curing of small cardamom. However, the flue pipe method was found to be slow and also required a very large initial investment without any energy savings and has not crossed the demonstration stage as yet. So students, let's now summarize what we have learned in this module. To achieve a long shelf life and to bring aroma, moisture content has to be brought down below 10% on wet basis. This process is known as curing, which has to be done immediately after harvesting to avoid fungal infection. Dried capsules have to be polished either manually or with the help of machines before marketing. Polishing is done by rubbing the dried capsule in hot state against the hard surface. Polishing machine is also available, which can be operated either manually or with electric motor. Drying should be carefully controlled and should not be too rapid. Temperature, humidity and aeration may be checked at frequent intervals during the course of drying. Temperature above 65 degrees centigrade should not be raised inside the curing house to reduce the splitting and loss of volatile oil. The harvested capsules are spread in a single layer on the trays. After keeping the cardamom trays in the racks, curing room is closed and heating is done by burning firewood in the furnace. An electric or gas-fired dryer is an improvement over the use of a wood-fueled fire and is the best choice for drying large quantities of the cardamom. It's the most expensive of all options but does produce the highest quality product. That's all about the drying of cardamom. Thank you.
We have seen different drying process of cardamom, how it is important and how it affects the quality and the different parameters involved in the drying process of cardamom. Now, after drying, the next step is to produce the cardamom product, and this aspect will be discussed in the next module. Thank you.